was up and down as to whether I wanted to record this video, but I've pressed record. We're just going to go for it. I want to talk about a couple of issues in the game, in particular ranked, the ore economy, but tie that into the April update. By the time this releases, the update would have been out a bit over a week. So I didn't want to just do my typical update review video since it's been a little while. But I still thought, well, I kind of want to discuss the update. Why don't I tie that as well into some more general aspects of the game and in that of the state of the game and a couple of issues, which is what we'll go on to towards the end. But starting with the April update then, we got a lot of new defense and troop levels, which generally is good. When it comes to the troop levels, there was a lot of discussion earlier on in the year about just release all of the troop levels so that the meta can be nice and diverse from the start. I don't think that's the right way to do it, because I do think having the meta adjusted throughout the year is equally exciting, and new troop levels allow you to do that. But I think the main problem back when Town Hall 18 was released, is that the meta strategies were literally rug pulled from you. The team said that they wanted to shift the meta in between Town Halls, which I guess they met that objective, but it's frustrating to the player when, everyone was using RC Dive into Dragons or Root Riders and Valkyries, because that was ultimately the best attack. And when you've done that for an entire year, and then Bomb Hive is a direct counter to the RC Dive, Town Hall's not a defense, so Root Riders and Valkyries don't work, you literally get forced to learn a completely new strategy, especially when the game became a lot harder. And yeah, it just led to a lot of frustration, but that's obviously being ironed out a lot now. And I do think new troop levels throughout the year are good to continually shake up the meta that little bit, but strategies should still work across Town Hall levels. And I think, the team recognize that now. So in general, there's not a lot to say about new troop and defense levels. I do like that. The one that's a little bit strange, I guess, that people were talking about is the army camps. Now, I don't think we needed new army camp levels. To be honest, I don't think we needed them back with Town Hall 17. Don't get me wrong, I'm not going to not upgrade them, and I'm certainly not going to complain about more army camp space, because that's certainly more exciting to upgrade. But the +3 is definitely a bit strange, because they were certainly cautious about the amount of troop capacity they wanted to add, therefore questioning is it needed, and yet they did it anyway, but with +3. And I guess my take from this maybe is, it's fine, but maybe they know they've reached that point. I hope they know they've reached that point with temporary content. Because last year, when I interviewed the Clash of Clans team here on the second channel, Seth did talk about, they will probably push temporary content too far and have to dial it back. That's kind of what we've seen with the crafted defenses. So I hope they've reached that point where we're not going to get more than the supercharged stuff that we already get. And I will say, I hope we get that throughout the Town Hall lifespan, which I guess we're getting a little bit, but we got a lot of it with the start of the Town Hall. I hope they spread it out, use it as more of a filler towards the end of the year and a bit of a balance change, like it was when it was introduced. But my point here is I hope that temporary content is as far as they're going to take it, because I don't think generally I understand the principle, but people don't like temporary content. So then you have to ask, well, okay, maybe that's what they're doing. They are giving us new levels. It's not taken away. It's just you don't get as good stat increases in between. I don't know. I'm just saying. But it's kind of questionable. Was it needed if we're only getting 3 troop capacity? But maybe that's part of it. They do want to give us things to upgrade, but they don't want to push temporary content any further. Just my thoughts. I don't mind the +3. It would have been nicer to have +5, like how it always is, rounded number. But I guess, hey, we can take 2 extra headhunters now, a couple of Coco Loons, a baby dragon to funnel, whatever. A couple of extra troop capacity. It's always that thing of when you're building your army, you're like, man, I wish I had 5 extra troop capacity for 1 more balloon, or I really want a couple of archers to clean up. But now that we have 12 more, you would just use that with the bigger troops before you then start, filling with the smaller troops. But anyway, not too much more to say about the building levels. What I do want to talk about next, though, in regard to temporary content, is the new Logger Guardian. Before I talk about the concept itself, my main concern with Guardians, and I have shared this with the team, I don't know what the long-term plan is of Guardians, but I hope they don't turn into temporary content, right? That is the biggest thing that I do not want to see. But at the same token, I don't want to necessarily see Guardians as the Town Hall defense moving forward like forevermore. I like that they did something different. Guardians can certainly be frustrating to deal with, and I think the Logger Guardian is one that you have to really tactfully work around, but there's counterplay to it, so that's a good thing. It's okay for things to be difficult in the game as long as there is a counter to them. They can be frustrating, granted, because if you lose your healers, or like the Longshot used to do, then it's frustrating. But my main point is, moving to Town Hall 19, I'd hope the Town Hall weapon is changed, but I'd hope the Guardians are still used in some manner. If we're putting this time into upgrading them, I don't know. Maybe they are like transitioned into, like, I don't know, do we merge the Guardians into a new weapon? I've had this discussion before, but that's my main concern with adding more Guardians, is what happens moving into new Town Halls. And I hope the team have a good plan for that so that it doesn't end up as like temporary content. But the Logger Guardian itself, I do like the addition, but mainly for the point that it will offer a little bit more variety, because I do think we will see the Logger a lot more, but I still think we'll see the Longshot. Whereas previously, like, nobody used the Smasher Guardian. So essentially, you always just knew it was the Longshot Guardian. Now you have to plan just that little bit more, a little bit like the spell towers, how they rotate. It allows you to have a little bit of variety, and for that, I do like it. The design, it's okay, but you will see this as we move to the other units as well. There's nothing kind of unique about it. It's kind of existing mechanics in the game, and I know there's only so far they can go with that, but I do hope to see more unique factors with things that are added into the game. So, Logger Guardian, I like the addition because it'll give variety mainly. The mechanics are okay. I do think it'll be frustrating to go with, but the main reason I like it is the variety that we'll see. Moving to the Siege Machine, though, the new Sky Wagon. Again, I mean, it's a mechanic that we've seen with the Troop Launcher, so nothing really new there, but I guess it makes sense. Like, you don't always have to have new, fresh mechanics. You can have different ways of doing things, right? And I've said this before, not every unit has to have its own special, unique case. It might just be that we get options. I think the Sky Wagon is a good example of that, because you're really not sure what siege to use in your air attack. You can just drop it behind your dragons. You're going to get pretty good value. Obviously, I've gone over like use cases on my main channel, whether that be supporting your ground attack as Coco Loons or just putting it behind dragons, using it to funnel alongside the Royal Champion, but it does give you more options. I actually quite like the Siege Machine now that air spam is seemingly like the meta. It works really good with it, you know, just distracting point defense, whether you're using it to funnel slightly as well. So I do like the Sky Wagon. I do wish that we've seen a little bit more uniqueness in some of the additions to the game. And I guess that transitions across to the Electro Fangs. Again, I don't mind the equipment. It's good to have more options. I don't think I'm going to use the Electro Fangs. I don't think it's as strong as the other pieces of equipment. I mean, I maxed it on my main account, but like on my second account where I only buy the gold and the event pass, I'm just not going to put any ore into it because I have no plans to use it. And that's fine. You don't have to have everything like fully maxed if it's not going to suit you, because to me, the Stun Blaster is just better. The Fireheart is just better. The Rocket Backpack is just better. But it does give you some options. I mean, I guess the one advantage of the Electro Fangs is to chain through skeletons, but I feel like not every equipment has to be for like a skilled player as well. Because I guess what you have to think about is, if you are using the Dragon Duke to solo an area of the base, taking advantage of its enraged bonus, then you have to time the stun ability. You have to use your spells accordingly. Versus if you want to just drop your Dragon Duke in an area, concentrate on the other part of your attack, whether that's dragons or whatever, then the Electro Fangs will always give you some level of value. Versus the Stun Blaster, you have to move your attention across to it. So it's a bit more of a user-friendly equipment, which I guess is the main thing I like about that, because it's always based on what people's playstyles are as to what they prefer. And that's okay. Again, I am perfectly fine with things getting added to the game that I am not personally going to use or that do have more niche use cases. Would I have preferred the equipment had a little bit more unique mechanics to it? Yes, but again, I guess when it comes to the Electro Fangs, I'm okay with it being added to the game just to give some more options for, you know, some more casual players. And I guess one point I will touch upon before we move to like the other changes within the update, the new leagues, changes to ranked that they made, which is going to directly tie into the like state of the game part I'm going to discuss at the end, part of the reason I wanted to add it to this video. And I shared this with the team as well when I was in Finland, because just before the April update, myself, Ninja, Itsu, and Coco, we were out in Finland, you know, recording a couple of stuff, as you've probably seen, for the Clash vs. Skeleton event, but also giving a lot of feedback to the team. One of the things I said to the team is the updates don't always have to be like new equipment, new siege machine, new this, new, right? Like, I think a banger update would be, you know, all of the quality of life things you've been asking for like 5 or 6 years? That's this update. Banger. You don't even need to have a new troop or a new this or a new, you know, like, you don't always have to have that stuff to have the updates be good and like impactful for the players. When we're playing the game as much as we are day in, day out, you make our experience better, smoother, like make the game more enjoyable, then that's awesome. It doesn't always have to tie into more new stuff. Now, I don't want that to be taken the wrong way, as if like I don't want new stuff. Clearly, we do want new troops, we do want new, but it doesn't always have to be like that stuff, right? There's a lot of stuff in this update. All of the cost and time reductions that went through, that were just glossed over like at the bottom of the, like, let us know about that stuff. Actually, that's impactful, and really focus on that stuff as well. But moving to the leagues, I mean, the CWL leagues we haven't been able to experience yet, but I do think that's a good factor. As I've mentioned in one of my other videos when we first broke that down, I'd love to see other improvements to CWL, like some sort of helping with the matchmaking. I do quite like that you're only matched with people in your league, but there needs to be some sort of reseeding or like town hall floor, or I don't know, something that just helps with all of the mismatches, because it's just frustrating, especially when the 5 versus 5 came out. That was part of the problem. You had clans that were maybe sitting in a certain league because they don't have a full roster of Town Hall 18s, but maybe they've got 5 Town Hall 18s. Now all of a sudden they are matched with like you with a bunch of Town Hall 10s. And it's like, it just doesn't work for anybody. So new leagues in CWL, really like that. I mean, the biggest changes in the update, I guess, was the ranked. And honestly, someone commented on my sneak peek video, what was your favorite part of the update? My favorite part is the 4-week decay. Again, talking about new stuff. Like, don't get me wrong, I like the Skywagon, but that is the more impactful thing. And we really emphasized that going into like meeting with the ranked team when I was in Finland, because like no one likes that league decay. Like, it's just frustrating and annoying. And it's just that chore of like people on the treadmill of having to do it. And I get it. For an active player, it's not that big of a deal. Or like, oh, just farm your tanks in ranked. But for example, right up until when I went to Finland, I haven't been well for like past couple of months dealing with stuff, so like I haven't been attacking very much. That's why as well, by the way, some of the attacks in this video are from a little while ago. There's a couple of more recent ones that I've got in the background of the video, but some of them are from recordings a little while back. When I went from Legend League all the way down to Dragon 29 because I wasn't attacking in the space of what, like 4 or 5 weeks of not attacking. Then when they announced the changes to Legends League and I want to like push back up towards there, I went into like Dragon 29, which is nowhere near the trophy, like the league floor of Town Hall 8 as well. I was matching like Town Hall 16s, which like was just strange, right? Whereas that league decay, the way it is now, I'd have only dropped to Electro 33. 1 league, that would have been it. And I think that's how it should be. I'll get to this at the end about ranked, but I think there should be a lot more changes with ranked, but more so like indirectly battle mode. But I'm so glad that they increased the league decay to 4 weeks. It was going to be 2 weeks. They were going to extend it from 1 to 2 weeks, which it's better, but it doesn't allow people that time to just take a breather. We went into the meeting, me, Ninja, Itsu, and Coco, and really emphasized like there are parts of ranked that need fixing. And like the league decay, it's the easiest change you can make right now. Like, I think there's long-term things, but talking in the short term, like just extend it. I can understand why it's there to a degree, but not that quickly. And it's, I don't know, this is a bit strange, but like we really emphasized how it needed to change and they extended it. It's like, but the player base has been screaming about this for like months. I'm sure the community managers have like echoed and shared that with the team. But it's like, how much emphasis was put on that? Was it shared with them? Obviously, it have been shared with them, but like, was it shared as this is a big deal? Because that's really what we said. Like, you need to fix this. I'm glad it's fixed. I would have liked to have seen it fixed sooner. They have been acting very quick on a lot of stuff. Look at the Gold Pass changes. I think they made a lot of mistakes with that Gold Pass when it first came out, but they've clearly been looking and seeing that feedback, and they've reacted. Whether it's the discounts and the times and now the prospect of the day one, like, they're quick to react in that area. It's just a little bit frustrating to me to see how long it took them to react to the league decay. Because let's say looking at like data, right? Everyone's doing their ranked attacks, but because they have to, not because everyone enjoys it. Don't get me wrong, a lot of people will be enjoying it, but people have to do their ranked attacks, otherwise they get demoted, so they can't get as much ore. So like, if they are looking at the data and thinking, oh yeah, great, everyone's doing their ranked attacks, this is fine and dandy. But there's a difference between people wanting to do their ranked attacks for enjoyment, should be playing the game for enjoyment, and being like forced to do it. And I think that's the difference maker in maybe benefit of the doubt there. Maybe the data was holding them back, but that's really what I emphasized is like, people will be taking part in ranked, and that's what we see, but people feel like they're on a treadmill. So anyways, I am really glad that we'll be able to go into that ranked meeting and get the league decay up to 4 weeks. And I'll get to my other parts about ranked in a second. I guess I'll touch on the new legend leagues. I like elements of this and I don't like elements of this, but I also understand elements of this. I'll expand here. I do like that for the really hardcore active player base, we can crank up the modifiers so they can enjoy the game and they have a space to enjoy the game in that manner. This is feedback we gave about ranked before ranked was introduced. I think you are overestimating how many players want to sweat in ranked mode. Like, Legends needs to be significantly smaller. But now that it's there, great. They have that space. Personally, I like the 8 attacks per day. I like the daily attacks, and I feel like Legend 2 and 3 doesn't feel like Legends because of that. It feels like it's called Legend, but it doesn't feel like Legend. Let's say the old Legend system, if we had a space where like there was like low, mid, and high Legends, and above a certain trophy count that like rank just kicked in, the higher modifiers, that would have been it. Like, let people feel like they're in Legends, feel special about themselves. I know there is always that case of like, oh, get good, you shouldn't be in Legends then. But to me, why not let people feel good about themselves, enjoy the game? If they are enjoying the game, then they're going to continue playing, and we're not going to see this like gradual decline of people just getting frustrated and quitting, which is ultimately what is happening with the game right now, which I think that's a lot tied to the ore economy and other factors as well. Anyways, my point is, Legend 2 and 3, to me, doesn't feel like Legends. It says it's Legends, but it's really just a different aspect. But equally, that's just my opinion. I understand that there is a huge amount of players that prefer the weekly attacks, and honestly, I think it's 50-50. Reading through the comments and trying to like get a gauge as to what people want and what they don't, 50% of people want the daily attacks and 50% of people want the weekly attacks. So it's like Clash of Clans are in a rock and a hard place there, and I guess by having these different leagues, like, how would it even work if, like, because I would love to see, okay, Legend 3 is like 4 attacks per day, Legend, or probably even more than that, to be honest, because that's another thing about the weekly attacks is you just don't get as many. But anyways, like, for argument's sake, 4 attacks, Legend 2 is 6 attacks, Legend 1 is 8 attacks. But then how do you promote from one league to the next when it's a daily tournament versus the weekly tournament where it's way more controlled to go up to Legend? And I just don't see how they could get that to work. So I guess it has to be weekly attacks, which again is fine, because if 50% of the player base that's good for, then that's great. But anyways, I like the reformation of Legend League. I personally like the star bonus capping off when you get to Legend. I know there are people that will think the higher you go, you should get rewarded for that. But we've actually seen what that led to, which is when Legend first came out, people were trying to strive to the top because ore is so sought after. And what it meant was people were getting into an area of the game that was just irritating them and they would quit. Because people don't play the game to get all worked up about failing attacks. They play the game to like unwind, have fun, feel good about themselves. Yes, there are some players that really want to be strategic and competitive. Now they have that space. I don't think those players do it for like that tiny little bit extra awe. What I do think is as you move up through the legends, you should be able to get cosmetics rewards. A legend shop is something that has been talked about for the longest time. Cosmetic-based rewards for performing in those higher leagues is great. But having the star bonus cap off at the, like, once you hit legends, I do like that approach. Oh, and obviously the bugs with this update, I'm not going to go on about them. Clearly, it's less than ideal. They've had a couple of updates recently where there really wasn't many bugs, but then this one was littered with them again. Clearly, they need to get on top of that. We can expect some bugs. This one, a lot more than expected. But again, I don't want to dwell on that too much. Now, I guess this conversation is like nicely blending into the state of the game anyway, because one aspect I wanted to talk about first was ranked, and then the ore economy. I guess the other like quick changes about the ranked where they like updated the UI and stuff, I really like that. I said from the off when they first changed to ranked, the new ranked, this screen, the battle log, is not as shareable as the old legend system where you had the green for your attacks and the red for your, and it was way better. Like people would screenshot that, share it on Reddit when they had a perfect day and stuff. It looked visually good, and the new one just didn't look as clean. So I do like that they have upgraded a lot of that. It does make it a lot more shareable. I don't like that now. It's even smaller, the menu. And this is not that big of a deal. Most people play on their phone. But on some of the larger devices, the menus only take up like half of the screen. I just think it would be better to be able to dynamically change some of those, especially for some of the more popular devices, that it would give a better experience for people. I do like the Town Hall leaderboards. That's something that I was pushing, and I really like that we can give exposure to some of those lower Town Hall trophy pushers as well, because some of them are so talented that why should they be just locked in the leaderboard behind their Town Hall level? So I do really like that anyone can see the Town Hall leaderboards of any different level. Now, when it comes to ranked, then, transitioning to this, state of the game, I think the issues with ranked and the ore economy kind of go hand in hand. Because part of the issue of ranked in feeling like you have to do it, it's that chore, a lot of that is because the star bonus and the ore is, you have to be in ranked. The League Decay, I think, fixes a lot of that. And for active players, for me, for example, I really like ranked. But I always try and discuss and think broader as to, how do we make this good for all players? And as I mentioned in a video previously, I think in hindsight, ranked should have been a separate mode, because battle mode doesn't have the same draw to it. And a lot of players that play Clash really casually, they just don't really care about ranked mode because they're stuck. Yes, you can say, get good or all of these different aspects, but there are a lot of players, for example, that will just be stuck at the Town Hall floor, or even if they're not at the Town Hall floor, they upgrade a few leagues, maybe someone's sitting in Electro 32, but forevermore, they are stuck in Electro 32. They're not good enough to get promoted. They're probably, there's a lot of people that don't even attack in ranked because they have to do it, and a lot of people farming in ranked, which dilutes the competition, so they won't get demoted, but they're just stuck in Electro 32. New Town Halls will come out, those players above will just move up leagues, and from this point forward, there's a high likelihood that that player is just stuck in Electro 32, and they have zero progression. How does that make them feel? Is that fun? To me, the old system, yes, you could say it was skillless, which arguably to a degree, yes, anyone could get to Legend League, but who cares? Once you got into Legend League and you got higher up in Legend League, well, then it obviously mattered a lot more. And that's where people would hit their cap, their trophy cap, and they'd be stuck. And that's fine because they're in Legend League at that point. And if they, jumped on for a couple of hours play session, they could grind up through the leagues, increase their trophies. They'd feel a bit more sense of progression. Whereas in the current ranked mode for that more casual player, they're just stuck. And that feeling of progression isn't there. And over time, that causes people to just quit the game. which is not what we want from an active player perspective. Even if you think, well, you shouldn't get promoted, it's a strategy game. Like, if we are losing players because they have this feeling, then that's not great. And I think, like I said, in hindsight, it's a wonderful thing. If ranked was a separate mode, we just kept how it was, ranked would be more competitive for us competitive players. All of the leaderboards would be tied to the new Legend League, so like, that's what you care about as an active player. But a casual player, they could jump on and feel like they progressed in battle mode, and I would have the star bonus in battle mode as well. Like, it would be in both of them. So if you want to just do ranked, you get your star bonus. If you want to be in battle mode, you get your star bonus. Everyone is like happy in that regard. In the previous video, I suggested that I think the old system in battle mode would be great. Obviously, Legend in itself would be changed. It'd just be like this area of 5,000 to 6,000 trophies. Then you'd hit a cap. You could do unlimited attacks. There wouldn't be a leaderboard for that because leaderboards would be from ranked. I mean, even now, the more I think about that, why even cap it at 6,000? If someone wants to get to like 12,000 trophies before the monthly reset to 5,000, they'd only be getting like one trophy per attack in this like battle mode of Legends, then like let them. That wouldn't be tied to the community, like to the leaderboards, but maybe we could have community leaderboards, you know, where people would be trying to push the amount of trophies or whatever. Like, that'd be fun for a more casual player. But the competitive side of things, you still have ranked. It's still exactly what you want. It would arguably be more competitive because now you don't have people farming in battle mode and like having to auto sign into there and then not attack, and it just ends up being a bit more, like a lot more lucky than what it would have been if people actually attacked in there. I know it's different as you get up into Legend League, like everyone's attacking up there in like Legend 1, but lower down in the ranks, even in the Electro Leagues, there's people just farming and not taking it seriously or not attacking. And like, as a lower Town Hall player that is pushing like this new ranked series that I'm doing, it's wild to see how lucky you can get one week to the next based on people being forced into ranked, which is not good for anybody. It's not good for the competitive players because they don't get that competitive scenario. Obviously, that other video where I spoke about this was a lot more structured, but I think there needs to be more in battle mode. And what that would do is make ranked optional so that ranked could be more competitive. If the star bonus was also in battle mode, whether it's the old system, obviously that it brings complications, whether it's a trophy road or just something where people had, because even a casual player, like, yes, they can get loot in battle mode, but like, what's the point? They don't feel like there's anything there. There's no like purpose or progression. So something in battle mode where you could equally get your star bonus and the ore from there, so that ranked was optional and truly for the competitive players. All of the leaderboards are tied to ranked. I think that would just be way better. I think ranked is into a better spot. I don't personally like that the amount of ranked attacks are continually going down and down to try and cater to the casual players that are having to do ranked. Make something in battle mode that allows you to get your ore and your star bonus from there so that players don't have to do ranked. It's a separate game mode, which is good. That is a new, like when I said before, everything doesn't always have to be new things. I do think more ways to play the game, like new modes, is fantastic. Because right now, for like an active player, you have your war attacks, your ranked attacks, and I'm not sitting doing battle attacks if my builders are working. So I don't really have any reason to play the game other than to maybe friendly challenge and get some practice in. By lowering the ranked attacks, you actually lower the incentive for an active player to play. So if ranked was optional, there was more in battle mode, I think that would just change things a lot, where more of the casual player would have a sense of progression. They would be able to get their ore from that. More of the active players, which I know are more of the people watching this video, ranked would be more competitive. That's great. You could then turn up the number of attacks in ranked, so we could actually do more ranked attacks, and that's great. Now, the other big factor here, closing out, is the ore economy. Clash have said that they are going to address this. They've said that for a long time. I guess we will believe it when we see it. But they have strictly in this State of the Game blog last month said that they are going to improve it. I think that will take some of the strain off ranked. I think the stuff I just discussed still needs to be addressed, because fixing the ore economy, like, what do they mean by that? I guess is the biggest question, right? Because if they are selling event passes and encouraging you to buy ore offers, I cannot see them fixing it to the point where, like, a free-to-play player can max everything. Like, maybe, I know it's, like, mathematically possible, but, like, realistically, it's impossible. But I'm not sure that that's going to drastically change, because they would be impacting their revenue. Like, think about the unlimited heroes, how much we pushed about heroes whilst they're upgrading, and wow, thank you. Yes, I didn't even say that, but I've only been asking for like 5 years. I remember like pressing Darian on this, multiple interviews about it as well. Like, why can't we have them in friendly challenges? You can draw the line, so at least we have that. But I'm glad they were honest about us that heroes whilst they're upgrading, they wouldn't probably do ever because of monetization, unless they could draw monetization elsewhere, which maybe they've managed to do with the equipment. But what I'm saying is, I hope it's addressed, I hope it's fixed, but let's see what they actually do, because that's a big revenue driver for them, clearly. And yeah, I don't think it's going to be like fixed in the sense of everyone's going to be able to max all of their equipment. That's not going to happen, because otherwise no one's going to buy the event pass. They need to address the ore economy for free-to-play players and for returning players. Returning players is the big one, because free-to-play players, if they are active, yes, they may be on that treadmill, but they can kind of keep going. It's really the star ore that's the big factor. That's the one that really needs fixing, because if it feels like you cannot get there, if it's just unrealistic, then people will quit. Seth spoke about in his interview with me how people love like the thought of getting to max, and what they see in their data is people get to maxed, and then that's cool for about 2 weeks, and then people quit. And that is true, because it's kind of the journey that you're after. But if that journey is always just feeling like I'm never, like, even if I increase my playtime and like grind battle mode or like whatever, I'm never going to get there. And that's the thing about ore, you can't farm it really. So maybe that's a way they can like improve it, where yes, it takes a lot of time and it's like maybe that goes up exponentially, but you can technically farm it. Either way, it needs to be like realistic for all players, because if free-to-play players drop off, then paying players, like, who are they paying to accelerate ahead of? That's that's why people pay, right? Like, if you lose 90% of your player base, which, I mean, I don't know the numbers, but I'm assuming most of the player base is actually free to play. If you lose all of that, like, your paying player base is going to go down a lot. So they need to strike that balance. I guess the other factor is if free-to-play players drop off and clan activity goes down, then you're going to see a decline in players overall as well. I'm essentially just trying to manage your expectations here, because if anyone was reading the blog post when they said they would fix the ore economy, thinking that everyone was going to be able to just max everything out, realistically, I cannot see that happening when there is sales of event passes and ore. I hope they improve it, and I hope they improve it significantly, but again, let's just see where that lands. Now, the Clash of Clans team, they are very passionate. Clearly, I've met, I think, most members of the team. They are very passionate. They really do want to put the game in the best position it can. But clearly, they have revenue objectives and things like that as well. So that there are kind of limitations there is the main point that I'm bringing, but it needs to be realistic for free to play. So I hope they do something there, and equally returning players. They've got to fix that. I mean, when people come back, there's all of this equipment, all of this ore, and they just cannot catch up. It needs to be addressed. They've said they're addressing it. Let's see how that turns out. I think that will take a lot of pressure off ranked, but the other stuff I talked about as well, in actually making ranked more optional and allowing you to get the star bonus if you want from battle mode, because they said their objective was to allow people to play the game how they wished. Right now, you're forced into ranked. I guess now it's a lot better with the League Decay, but again, what it does is it just dilutes ranked a little bit because of people that don't want to do it, but you're kind of forced to. So anyways, More changes into battle mode to allow you to get progression there, have that sense of fun again for those more casual players, and feel like they are like accelerating and progressing in the game. And if they're in ranked and they're like stuck in a league, then like they can get a sense of progression and completion from whatever is added into battle mode, and that would equally mean that you could get the ore and the star bonus from there if you wished. I think that would make a big improvement, but the 4-week decay, again, so happy they extended it to that, because I think that helps a lot of things, and the ore economy does need improving, especially for free-to-play and returning players. They've said they're fixing it. Let's see what they come up with. I think actually the update was really great, by the way. I didn't give like a completion here. I'd obviously said I think there should be like some unique mechanics would be nice, but hey, the update, we got new leagues, ranked, fantastic changes to ranked in itself, troop levels, new siege machine, new equipment, new guardian. Like, this was a good update. And I think the team, like I said, are very passionate. I just feel like the ranked and the ore economy, and they're kind of tied together. They are the two main issues with the game right now. And if they can crack those, then it will be in a much better position. Meeting the team in Finland, though, that's the first time I've been over there since like last summer when I was there to interview the team for the second channel interviews. Seeing the passion still being there despite, you know, a lot of the issues that they have in the game and wanting to work through them is fantastic. And I hope they can crack it, and I hope they continue to respond the way that they have been to the community. Certain aspects, sure, I wish they were done quicker, but I do appreciate they want to, you know, see the data and make sure they're not making rash decisions. And the other thing I clearly would love to see is just continue to have the transparency that they have had in recent times. I think the Clash of Clans team are honestly doing so many things right at the moment. It's just these two big factors that we, you know, really need to get on top of, and I'm sure that they will. I also want to give everyone that used my code during the update a shout out. I have a team of editors that I work with, and by using my code in any Supercell game, it helps me to pay my team and continue to bring the best videos that I can. If you are making any purchases, just make sure to pop a creator's code in there, because it really does help us out massively. And if you're using the Supercell store, that is equally a place where you can get extra rewards from your purchases. Let me know what you think of the update, though, anything that I discussed here. And that wraps it up for this one. I will place a recommended video from my channel on your screen. I'll actually place my new ranked series that I referenced from my main channel on the screen as well, so you can check that one out if you're interested. But enjoy the rest of your day.